making his mind. Let's go to Chuck Grassley.
To speak. Normally we would start the vote right now, but as a point of personal privilege, I would call on Senator Flake.
Well, thank you. I have been speaking with a number of people on the other side. We've had conversations ongoing for a while with regard to making sure that we do due diligence here. And I think it would be proper to delay the floor vote for up to, but not more than 1 week, in order to let the FBI continue to do an investigation limited in time and scope to the current allegations that are there, and limited in time to no more than 1 week. And I will vote to advance the bill to the floor with that understanding. And I've spoken to a few other members who on my side of the aisle that may be supportive as well. But that's my position. I think that that we ought to do what we can to make sure that that we do all due diligence with a nomination this important. And I want to say that this committee has acted properly, and the chairman has bent over backwards to do investigations from this committee and to delay this vote in this committee for a week so that that Ms. Ford, Dr. Ford, could be heard, and she was yesterday. So that's with that agreement. I will vote to advance the bill to the floor.
Clerk will call the roll.
Just wait, just 1 second. Can Diane speak?
Could we have a description?
Yeah, what are we voting on? Let's see.
We are voting on the motion to report the nomination to the floor. The clerk will call the roll.
Wait, that's not my understanding of what, Mr. Chairman, let the senator explain it.
That is my understanding, and if the Democrats could speak to it, if Chris or you, as we talked about before, that the Democrats would accept and endorse a 1 week FBI investigation limited in time and scope.
Well,
That is correct.
since you're the deciding vote here, we'll vote, and then if there's any sort of discussion, we'll go do that after the vote. Call the roll.
Mr. Hatch.
Aye.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Sass.
Aye.
Mr. Flake.
Aye.
Mr. Quavo. Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
This is on the nominee.
Mrs. Feinstein.
Yeah.
On the nominee, no.
Mr. Leahy.
On the nominee, no.
Mr. Durbin.
No.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Coons.
On the nominee, no.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No.
Ms. Hirono.
No.
Mr. Booker.
No.
Ms. Harris.
No.
Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, the votes are 11 days, 10 days.
The nominee will be reported to the floor.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank my friend and colleague, Senator Flake, and thank you for giving us the time today to have a conversation. A number of my colleagues have asked for a 1 week delay in order that there might be an FBI investigation of what allegations are currently before this committee. I respect Senator Flake's view that in his opinion it was best to respect your having given Dr. Ford the time to be heard yesterday and advance the nominee to the floor. But it is my hope that we could work together on a bipartisan basis to diligently pursue an FBI investigation within the next week, not for the purpose of delay, but for the purpose of investigating further either allegations made by Dr. Ford or others, with a goal towards demonstrating a bipartisan commitment to diligently investigating these allegations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Flake.
Senator Feinstein.
Thank you. I would support that motion. I think we do need this investigation. As a matter of fact, I sort of misunderstood, Senator Flake, what you were doing. I thought it included a 1 week investigation. So I would like to support the motion for that investigation.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
We'll take turns here. Senator.
I love this committee, but we're not the majority leader. Senator Flake has made clear what it would take him to be comfortable on a final passage vote. But it doesn't matter what we say here. This will be up to Senator Schumer and Senator McConnell. So
It is completely up to them.
yeah, and I think
Mr.
Jeff has
Chairman.
made himself very clear, and
No, it's Senator.
let's move.
Senator Leahy. Senator Leahy.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I want to make sure, because this is somewhat unprecedented. When I do agree with the senator from Arizona that we should have this further investigation. So my understanding is that during the week that is taking place, there will be no action on the floor of the United States Senate on this nomination. Is that correct?
I cannot say that.
And let me say again, I can't make that commitment for the leadership. I can only say that I would be only comfortable moving forward on the floor. I'll move it out of committee, but I will only be comfortable moving on the floor until the FBI has done more investigation than they have already. It may not take them a week. I understand that some of these witnesses may not want to discuss anything further, but I think we owe them due diligence.
Mr. Chairman.
Follow it up.
Just a minute. All I have said to Senator Flake is that I would advocate for the position he took, but I don't control that. Senator,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, Senator Klobuchar.
Mr. Chairman, there are other senators as well who may be interested in this negotiation on the Republican side, and there's not really a set agreement here. All of us had already said we were voting no. It is simply Senator Flake working with all of us to say, for the good of the Senate and the good of the court, the American people deserve to have the facts followed up on. And I really appreciate his willingness to do that. And that is what this is about. This is simply about, and by the way, if Senator McConnell wants to go forward in light of that, and we still have several senators that haven't said how they're voting on this nominee, I actually think this is very important what just happened right now. So it doesn't have to have an agreement. It is one senator who's standing up.
Senator Cornett.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to express my appreciation to Senator Flake for allowing this process to move forward. There's some difference of opinion among us as to what exactly the FBI investigation would consist of. Some of us think it has been concluded and supplemented by this committee's investigation. Others disagree with that. But I respect the fact that not only Senator Flake advocated to give Dr. Ford a chance to appear in front of the committee, which was the right thing to do, but also that he's allowed this process to move forward, subject to further discussions about what the FBI may or may not be able to come up with. But certainly he maintains his right to cast his vote yea or nay as he sees fit, and maintains significant leverage that way. But I appreciate his support for a full and fair hearing for Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh, as well as his willingness to allow this to go forward subject to his request.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Blumenthal, I think I ought to call on Senator Feinstein. And then,
If I, through the chair, could ask a question of Senator Flake, does your amendment include continuing the investigation during this period of time?
If I can respond, there is no amendment. I'm simply stating, and the discussion that we had between us all is that I would hope, and I think we had some agreement before, that the Democrats who have been, I think, justifiably uncomfortable moving ahead could publicly, in an effort to bring this country together, say that we would feel better. I'm not expecting them to vote yes, but not to complain that an FBI investigation has not occurred.
Welcome to BBC News. You're watching our continued live coverage of the Senate Judiciary Committee. There has been a vote that's just been passed to forward the nomination of Judge Kavanaugh to full US state, but a little bit of confusion at the moment. There was a motion that was put forward by the Republican Senator Jeff Flake for a pause in the final vote to allow a possible FBI investigation of the allegations that have been put in front of the Senate committee. It's this that's being discussed at the moment. Let's listen in.
I would just encourage the Democrats who we talked to before to endorse that kind of thing, that we can then move on.
Mr. Chairman.
Because of the 2-hour rule, we're adjourned.
What?
The 2-hour rule.
Okay, so we did think that we would have the vote that was taking place today. This Judiciary Committee hearing started earlier today on Capitol Hill. The vote that was taking place was to approve the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh. The full Senate vote would have taken place next week. But what's now happened is that a motion has been put forward for a 1-week pause for that full Senate vote to allow for a potential FBI investigation. Let's cross live to our correspondent, Gary O'Donoghue, who's in Washington. Gary, a moment of confusion there. Just take us through what we've witnessed in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
You thought you were getting to the end of this story, well, you're not. Yet another twist and an extraordinary process that's really divided this Congress and this country. What we've seen today, effectively at 9:30 this morning, Jeff Flake, the Republican senator from Arizona, an opponent of Donald Trump, a man stepping down from Congress later this year, he said he would back Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. He said he would help vote it out of the committee. That was a key Republican vote because that made it 11-10 on the committee. However, during the morning, he's been talking to Democratic senators, talking to other Republicans. He's clearly come under enormous pressure. And now, as they were about to vote this out of committee, he said, what I want to see now is the full vote of the Senate delayed by a week. That was due to happen perhaps Monday or Tuesday next week. I want it delayed a week so that the FBI can investigate the allegations of sexual assault that Christine Blasey Ford made against Judge Kavanaugh so dramatically yesterday. Now, the technicalities of this are quite important. The committee themselves can't decide when the floor vote takes place. That's up to the leader of the House, Mitch McConnell, the Senate leader, in negotiation with his Democratic counterpart, Chuck Schumer. So they can't guarantee anything. The chairman of this committee can't guarantee anything in terms of the timing of a floor vote. But he has said he will work to try and persuade the Senate leader, Mitch McConnell, that a week's delay is a good thing. Jeff Flake has said he wouldn't be comfortable with a vote going ahead on the floor of the Senate if there wasn't a week's delay and another FBI investigation. So there are lots of ifs and buts here at the moment. Will the Senate leader agree to the delay? Will someone ask the FBI to go and do some inquiring and some interviewing of witnesses in relation to this matter? Can they do that in the space of 7 days? Because Jeff Flake has said no more than 7 days. Lots of ifs and buts, but an extraordinary development. It is now true that this committee has voted Brett Kavanaugh out of committee. They have confirmed their view that he should be the next Supreme Court judge. But it comes with massive strings attached from the Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. He's thrown one huge spanner in the works at this very last moment, and it will send Congress, it will send the Republican Party into a tailspin of knowing what to do. They thought they were getting there, despite the difficulties of yesterday, the drama of yesterday, the sort of horror of these personal discussions and allegations and the tears of yesterday. Despite all that, they thought they were getting there. And now they're looking at another 10, 11 days perhaps of possible other stories coming out, of FBI inquiries, of interviews with witnesses, raking over this whole business all again for another 10 days. Extraordinary moment here.
Okay, Gary, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much.